Well, hello and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I hope you're out there and I can see your comments. I'm Kathy Stevens, and today we are going to have a really fun workout again. Last week was our Game It Up, but today I call it Red Ball Play. So we're going to really make some great use of the red ball, and hopefully all of you are familiar with this. If you have a 60 up board, and I'm going to I guess assume you do, being that you're here on the 60 Up member page, then you'll know that on the front of your board is this cool little, what we call it the red ball. It's kind of a half a ball, isn't it? So it's great because it has these sensor nubs on the top. So the surface of your skin gets a special kind of stimulation, as well as a variant in terms of the pressure. And it has a little more give to it than just the surface of your board. So you have even a little bit bigger balance stimulation when using or applying pressure to the ball. We're going to use it in several ways today. I'm going to use it as a prop, giving us something to focus on in terms of some of the movements we're going to be doing, some of the tapping, some of the reaching, some of the balancing. It just kind of adds another layer of interest and fun. The other thing that you can look forward to in the workout is after we are done with the 60 up board training using the red ball and the board. I'm not going to use bands or anything else. I'm then going to use it for a little bit more the sensation and the trigger or the pressure points that it can create. I know that everybody out there probably has been sitting around a little bit more than maybe you have in years past, just because of the lockdown and some of the other things that maybe have made us a little less active. And unfortunately, with that inactivity, sometimes just comes a little bit more time sitting in a chair, sitting at a computer, doing things where maybe you're not in the best posture or body support. So what happens is oftentimes we start to get a little more pain in our neck, in our mid back and scapular area. And sometimes the circulation is a little decreased, especially down to the extremities like the hands and the feet. So I'm going to show you some really cool ways to use the red ball to create some pressure, massage, and release of some of those tender spots. So you can be looking forward to that towards the end of the workout. But in the beginning of the workout, which is now, hi Vicki, hi Betsy, hi Pat, welcome to the class, Red Ball Play today. So in the beginning of the class, we are going to hold the ball, and I'm going to have the board turned around in its opposite direction. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. Oh, thank you for appreciating all I do, Vicki. I appreciate you guys. For me, being here and being able to work out from home and schedule in these classes is really great because it keeps me motivated too. And it is such a nice factor to be able to have the engagement, hi Mona, of you guys in the chat box, so that I know you're out there asking questions, following along, and staying engaged as a team. Because we're the 60 Up member team. And I hope that this feels as close to being in a live class as possible. There's nothing that will replicate or replace that. But I don't know about you, it just gives us purpose to be here. And I hope you're sharing this with your friends, because there are very few products like the 60 Up board that not only are so well designed for maintaining balance and bringing yourself into a better level of fitness that looks at everything: strength, cardio, mobility, and balance. That key word, balance, it should be put onto the list of primary fitness components. And it is in some areas. But also the fact that you've got Dan, the creator, here teaching live to you twice a week, and myself here to support you every week live. I don't know other products that do that at no extra charge. So thank you for being here, and share the word with your friends that want to have the same benefits that we offer you here. So with that said, we're going to get started. Today's Red Ball Play Day, and so I'd like you to have your ball in hand, pick it up. We don't need our bands. We do need water. Boom, it's still summertime. Hydration being a key, so I'm going to be very conscientious of taking breaks and making sure we all drink our water during the workout. 3 big gulps per break. I have my mat underneath my 60 up board. For those of you that might be out there that are a little bit new, know that if there's too much rocking going on, or you can't quite get it to balance in the center, the thicker the mat or carpet under the 60 up board, the more it will have a stability feeling and it will be a little easier. So that's a way to progress or regress. Make it easier in the beginning when you start your workouts by having a thicker mat. Mine's a full 1/2 inch. It's very nice. It really does help. And then I'm not going to use tubing. I am going to have a chair nearby because I want you to always know we'll use it during the cool down when we do some of those pressure points that I talked about. But I also like to have it here so that, you know, if you get tired, sit down and just mimic the moves from the chair. That is the other way to regress the activity, is to spend a little more time in, I don't want to call it time outs because that sounds like punishment, but sit out. So let's call it that. You get a little tired, you're feeling a little bit like today's not the day you want to do the full 45 minutes to an hour. So sit down and watch us, but stay with us. All right, so I've got my red ball. That's number 1. I'm going to put it down for a second because I'm also going to start with my board turned around. So take a second to do that, please. Turn your board around so that the holder of the red ball is now very close to you. So we're going to start with that, but I'm still going to start by holding my red ball. Then we'll put it down. We'll work it this way. We'll take a break and turn the board around and be back in our normal position. But for now, just to get started, let me see who else is here. Hi, Betsy. She's going to do our segment later, but I'm always glad that she checks in. It really does make us feel great to know that you're here with us. All right. I'm going to put a little background beat on. I don't think you're going to be able to hear it, but it keeps me moving at a nice, steady pace, and that's the reason I like to have that. All right. Let's go ahead then. Stand up nice and tall. Grab your ball. And let's just start with a little rock, holding the pole with one hand, holding the ball with the other. Now let's take that ball and reach up and out. Good. Now if you feel comfortable not holding the pole during the warm-up, feel free not to. But having something in your hand and having to hold on is another challenge to your brain as well as your coordination. Reach out, reach out. Nice. Now, let's take it forward and cross. Like you're just clearing the table in front of you. Swipe it across. Palms up, palms down. Another little small but coordination challenge. Palm up, palm down. Thumbs back, thumbs in. Take a nice deep breath. Open up those lungs. 4 more. 4, 3, 2. Now hold on this side and squeeze that ball. See, I've got it and I'm squeezing it as I hold that side lunge and pulse it out. 8, 7, squeeze. 6. Wake up those fingers. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center. Switch sides. Rock side to side again. You got this. You know what we're going to do, right? Up, out, up, out. Let's go to the side. I'm sorry, I got a little messed up there with my rhythm. Reach out as you lunge to the right. Then up as you lunge to the left. Breathe. Warming up the shoulder girdle, warming up the knees, the hips, the thighs, the arms, the lungs. Good. Reach it up, reach it out. Let your core or your torso move with the arm. Stretch with the arm. Nice deep breaths. Let's clear the table in front. Sweep it across. Palm up, palm down. Just that little bit of rotation in the shoulder helps to open up those muscles across the chest and front shoulder. Breathe. Reach it. Hold on to it. Be aware of it. Couple more. And then we're gonna hold to the right, pulse and squeeze. So use your fingers to press into the surface of the ball. Some are on the nub, some are underneath. And just pulse that knee bend a little bit as well. Chin up, chest up, take a breath. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring it back to the center. Switch hands. Put it in your left hand. Now sit back, put it down into its slot, reach up to the sky, and then come back down, grab it, and bring it into the chest. Ready? We're gonna do that a couple times. Notice how I use my other hand on the pole, and I slide down as I sit back, so that we're really working those hips and warming up for those important movements that involve reaching and bending and picking up things. Good. Make sure you're hinging from the hips and keeping the back as flat as you can, as long as you can, so that you keep the work in the large buttocks. Well, I don't mean about the large buttocks, but you know what I mean. And gluteal muscles, buttocks is gluteal, and thighs. Good. So we put it down, we reach up to the sky, we pick it up, we hold it at our chest. Hip hinge, reach up. This is such a great warm-up move for the entire body. Can you see that? All the way down through the calves, all the way up through the fingertips. Nice work. Let's do one more of those. Hinge it, reach it, and then stop here. Let's rise up, down. Just get those ankles warmed up a little bit for a second. Then we're gonna switch arms and do that same move over again. We'll call it the pick up and put it on the shelf. All right, rock those feet. Heels to toes, toes to heels. Still breathing. Every once in a while, wiggle your fingers just to make sure you're not over gripping those handles. Happy Wednesday, by the way, guys. Wellness Wednesday. Today we're talking about getting rid of some of those trigger or pressure points that we build up from being sedentary too much. We're gonna use our red ball as much as we can, not just to balance and to challenge our coordination, but then to do a little self-massage at the end of class. All right, here we go. Other side, remember, other hand, so right hand for most of us if you did the left hand last time. Come on down, slide, look how my other hand slides down the pole to help me keep my back flat. And then bring it up and reach it onto the ceiling and then bring it back down. Oh, I think we did that differently, but that's okay. We're gonna reach up without the ball and then we're going to bend and bring it into the chest. Here we go. Put the ball down, reach up to the ceiling, pick up the ball, put it at the chest. Good. Now notice once again, I know you're doing this, so sometimes it's hard to notice while you're moving, but I want you to be aware that I'm hip hinging. Oh, I took that ball up with me again. That's all right. But I'm not rounding my back out as I bend over. I can see you the whole time. Good. I keep forgetting not to reach the ball up, but it doesn't matter. Sit back, pull it into the chest, bring it down, come up, reach it to the ceiling, hand or ball. Inhale, exhale. My other hand is on my stick, or my pole, which is great because it helps me bend over and feel stable. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a nice pole like this to hold on to every time you went to bend over and pick something up off the floor? Good job, guys. Let's do one more. Let's go ahead and pick that ball up and hold it at the chest. All right, now, if you're comfortable letting go of the poles, let's just push and lunge with creating a little pressure. See how I have the ball between my two palms, the nubby side on one, the flat side on the other, and then as I'm doing this, I'm pushing my palms together, really engaging those chest and arm muscles. Push and warm up those muscles of the upper body. That push is called an isometric contraction, when two things push and make muscles tighten without too much actual movement going on. And that's a very important type of contraction. You need to breathe throughout it, but it's very effective because it's strengthening the muscles without too much joint movement. And for those of you that might have arthritis or other joint problems, that minimizes the stress to the joint. All right, let's see how we go. Reach out, switch and reach out. So now this is a little more coordination and balance because we're transferring that red ball from right to left and left to right as we're lunging right to left. That's a lot to think about, isn't it? Now, if you drop the ball, that's okay. Take a second and pick it up. This is a lot of brain training here, coordination, and it's balance as well. And if this is too difficult, by all means, just hold your poles and just do one arm at a time with that reach out and then switch over. What would that look out like? Would you like to see it in case you're having difficulty with? So if I'm using the left arm on the pole, the right arm is reaching across, and then after a while, I can switch other side, holding right, reaching left. But if you're okay with letting go, then up it a notch by transferring that red ball in motion. Pass it to the right, pass it to the left. Good work. Whew, working up a little heat, right? Those muscles are working, that brain is working, and you should be feeling nice and warm now. Good job. 2 more. Last pass to the right, hold left, and now let's just take that red ball and batter up. Now make sure you don't hit your pole, so be a little bit on the diagonal with that pitcher swing. So take it around, squat it down, inhale it up, feel a nice flow, feel a wonderful opening through that shoulder girdle, and reduce the range of motion by bending the elbow if you find that that's just a little too difficult on your shoulder. See how I just bent everything up a little bit versus a long lever arm? That's how you modify, okay? Here we go, 4 more. 3, hang on to that ball. 2, last one, other side, same thing. And you know, I probably should have said start with a little bend in your elbow. For those of you that said, whoa, I needed to back off. It's always easier to start with the easier version. It's always probably better. And then to extend it as you feel that joint capability in the pain-free range. That's so key, is to try to stay in pain-free range. All right, inhale and exhale. Working those legs, working those shoulders, working those lungs. You got this. Breathe. Last 2. Last 1. Very nice. All right. Now from here, we have one more pattern, and then we're going to put this down. This is my cross diagonal pattern. So you can hold it with your right hand and hold your left pole if you need to. Reach up and then transfer and reach down. Reach up. Now this is a lot of coordination because notice I'm transferring up, holding the pole, and then reaching down and pivoting. So if you didn't do the first few, please be aware of what my knees, my hips, and my feet are doing. See, they all pivot together as I turn and cross my body on the diagonal down. Now, if you don't need to hold the pole, you can just take that ball with both arms, more like a swing of a golf club or something, up and down. But the key thing here is teaching your body to pivot. So notice how my heel comes up and my body twists or rotates around that center axis of my spine. Heel comes up, knees stay in the direction of the toes. Heels come up, knees stay in the direction of the toes. Excellent. All right, one more. Diagonal up, diagonal down. And now bring it back to center. And just kind of do a wide, floppy walk with your feet as we transition to the other side. Good. Awesome, guys. Okay, other side. Hold the pole. Come up. Look at my back heel. Pivot. Oops, I almost forgot. Pivot down. Ooh, I did this wrong. Up. And, oh my goodness. See, there's a lot of mental coordination going on here. So I go up. I go down. I pivot up. It took my brain a second to figure out this side, didn't it? That's called agility and coordination. And that's so important as well as just movement. So making that transition where we switch hands. Are you still having trouble with this? You might be. That's okay. Just get your body and brain to work together. Remember to pivot by lifting the heels up and letting the knees and toes stay in alignment. Reach down to one side, up to the opposite. And if you don't need to hold your pole for balance, then do both arms up, pivot, and both arms down. In some ways, this is easier because you don't have to think about which hand holds the ball and which hand holds the pole. But from a balance perspective, this might be more difficult. If you feel the need to hold the pole, then by all means, keep that one hand on the pole as you transition and rotate. Good. Up and down. We've got this. Couple more. Last one. All right, let's go ahead and put that ball down into its little cradle or socket right there on the front. Now, for those of you that might have joined us a little later, I have my board turned around so that my red ball is closer to me rather than away. But let's get some water first. That way, it'll also give you a second to change your board positioning if for some reason you haven't already gotten the right direction. So good to see you guys are all with me. Let's go ahead and take a sip. How many? 3. That was 1. 2. And then 3. All right. So now let's get behind the ball once again. And this time what we're going to do is play around with balancing on this less than stable surface called the red ball. Right foot tap, toe, and back. So tap up, center, back, center. Tap it. Try to keep the board nice and steady by redistributing your pressure between the hands. You should be standing right behind it. Again, so toe tap, floor, back. All right, now heel tap, floor, push back. Heel tap, floor, push back. Like almost slide that foot on the back and feel the calf lengthen. Slide it. Heel, slide. Heel. Now, double heel tap. 1, 2, and hold. 1, 2, and hold. Now working that standing leg a little harder because it's got to balance longer through that tap. Tap, tap, hold. Tap, tap, hold. Now a little coordination work here. Toe, then heel. Toe, heel, hold. Again, toe, heel, hold. Now if you mess up, that's okay. Keep going. Toe, heel, hold. One more. Toe, heel, hold it. Now from the lunge, bend, straighten, bend, straighten. Now we're going to challenge this lunge move in a second. 4 more. 3, strengthening the legs. 2. Now put that back foot on the ball and then do a 1-leg squat. So bend the hip and knee on the standing side. This is where that balance is really going to come in. Make sure your hip is going to the back so you're not putting too much pressure in the knee at the standing leg. Here we go. 4, balance the board. 3, you got it. 2, and 1. All right, now let's stand up on it and hold our balance. Try to find it. 30 seconds. Come on, you can do this. Just step right in the middle of your foot, right on that ball. Try to get those ends right in the center. Lift your chin, lift your chest, tighten your abdominals. Imagine that there's a string pulling your head up to the ceiling. Keep the chin parallel to the ground. You've got this. Hold and breathe. 2 more seconds. Last one. Step back down. Okay. Let's just ease those feet off a little bit. Just a nice walking step. Wiggle your fingers for me. Good work. All right. Other side. So tap, floor, tap, floor. So now you're standing on your right leg and you're tapping, dropping, tap behind, drop, tap, floor, back, floor. If you need to, if you feel like, oh, I'd be better centered a little more right behind that ball with my right leg, use this, which is the easier of the patterns, to figure out where your best standing space is, because the leg that's really working isn't the moving leg, it's that standing or stable leg. All right, now heel touch, heel and slide it back. Heel, slide. Heel, slide. Heel, slide. Chest up, heel, slide. Good job. Heel. Double tap. Tap, tap, push it back. Tap, tap, push it back. So you just take it right back into that lunge and stretch it out. Heel, heel, back. How about the toe? Toe, toe, back. Tap the ball. Try to keep your vision up. So try to keep your chin up and your vision up, looking at me on your screen rather than looking at the floor of the ball, if you can. Doesn't mean you can't spot it every once in a while and just make sure that you're hitting the spot, but then come back up to a gaze that's higher and chin that's parallel to the floor. Let's combine that. Heel, toe, behind. Heel, toe, behind. So this is a little more coordinated pattern. That's okay. Take a second. The whole time, you're still really working on that standing leg balance. Heel, toe, behind. Heel, toe, behind. Feel strong in this hip. You got to get all these muscles out on the side of your hip, working and connecting as you bear the weight on that leg, that one side stance. A couple more. Heel, toe, back. Last one. Heel, toe. Hold here in the lunge and just give me a little curtsy lunge up and down, just feeling where your center is and where you need to be for a nice stationary lunge. Chin up, chest up. Good work. Excellent. Couple more. And we're going to transfer that back leg onto the ball, balancing. This is going to get harder, right? So get centered and give me that one-legged squat. Now make sure on the squat that you lead with the hips going back behind you. So sit back into it as that other foot is resting on the ball. This isn't easy. That leg is getting real tired. You got it. You can do this. Down and up. Excellent. 2 more. Slide those hips back. Sit into it and then come on up and balance. Try to find the center. Try to keep that chin up, that chest up. Feel where you are. Try to have the ball right kind of under the ball area of your foot. Hold and balance. You got this. Red ball play day. Hope you guys are having a little fun with me today out there. If not, remember you can, well, if you're not here with me, you can't hear me, but note that you can always redo this workout anytime you want by going to YouTube, just putting in 60 up, Kathy Stevens, and you should be able to pull up my workouts. I try to date them and at least put the theme on the description. All right, balance, balance, balance. Hold 4, 3, 2, step down, and let's shake off those feet a little bit. Shake them off a little bit. Good work. All right, water break. I've been trying to be a little more conscious, especially during these hot summer months where we tend to run a little dehydrated, even more so than we run dehydrated. So 3 gulps. Here we go. All right. Now let's go on back and we're going to turn the board around in its normal position and work from the normal end of the board, okay? So take a second to reposition your board. We're still going to be focused on our red ball. And that's a great workout right there for the arms. So there we go. A little bicep action out of it. And now, from here, let's just start. Again, shake off any tension, pull your shoulders down and back, find your nice set posture and positioning behind the board where you feel comfortable. You don't want to be so far back that you're hunching, and you don't want to be so far up that your toes are touching. You need to find where you can keep your chest up, your shoulders down, and still have a nice clearance for stepping up onto the board. Starting right foot, we're just going to do a basic step for a bit. So ready, here we go. Right, left, right down, left down. So let's just do this for a while. And initially, I don't want you to worry about what the board does. Just worry about your feet getting up and down on about the 1, 1 down behind. So just think about hitting the spot and let the board rock naturally right to left. And try not to think about it. Try not to make that be your focus. Just think foot to 1, then back down. This is called a basic step pattern. If you've ever done step aerobics or step fitness, you know that step was very popular back in the 90s and early 2000s. This was a core movement called a basic step, right lead. Now from here, let's go a little wider so we hit more the 2 or 3 area. And it's still the same pattern as a basic step, except we call this a V or wide step because the toes are stepping outward a little bit, turned out. And that's important because whenever you're turning the corner, you've got to be able to access that rotation in the hip and let that knee and toe turn out a little bit. So V step is functional to turning on the walking step. Good. So toes are out, feet are wider. And this is a nice, easy pace cardio workout right now. So since we're continuing to be rhythmic and we're not stopping and going or pausing, you're going to start to feel your heart rate elevate, and you might even start to feel your breathing get a little deeper, more rapid or deeper, and those are all signs that the heart muscle is being adequately challenged. So that's what makes the difference between a cardio movement and a strength or flexibility or balance movement. You can sense that you're working the heart muscle if you feel like you're breathing deeper or faster. And in some cases, when it is a higher intensity, you actually feel your pulse rate beating faster. It typically takes a little higher intensity for you to actually feel that heart racing. And we're at a moderate phase, so the first thing you're going to feel is that respiratory change. Up for 2 and down. All right, now we're going to go back to the basic narrow, so stepping up on 1 and 1. Good, right in the center. See how that feels a little different again? And then we're going to do another move that's going to involve, of course, the red ball. Why? Because this is red ball play day. All right, so keep doing your basic, and I'll cue you. After a few more of these, we're gonna tap the red ball and then step off rather than just step up and step off. Let's try it. So, right, tap, step off. Now, left, tap. So see how this alternates naturally? Because instead of just now it takes a second to change the pattern in your brain. That's what was so unique about step aerobics, is a simple pattern change like this, which is an alternating tap step, we call it, where we tap that middle red ball and then the foot swings right back to the floor. And notice that means the leg that you step up with changes. That's why they call it an alternating step. Step, tap, step, but we're still rhythmic. We're not stopping. So our heart is working. Our respiratory system is catching up. Here we go. Step, tap. Again, step, tap. And I don't want you to worry again about that board rocking business. Just let it naturally do what it does as you step out and step off and step on and step off. Good. Again. Take a nice deep breath. Remember, step up, tap the ball, put the foot on the floor. Step up, tap the ball, put that same foot on the floor. Step up, tap the ball. You could just stand here and do this for as long as you want and get a great cardio workout with a balance kicker, I like to call it, because your brain is still figuring out how to balance whether I tell you to focus on it or not. It's just natural that your body reacts when the surface isn't exactly stable. That's called reactive training, neuromuscular training. And that's what's built into the 60-up board, reactive neuromuscular training. And isn't that great to be training something without even having to focus on it? Just have it happen. Awesome. Couple more. Your ankle, your foot, your hip, your knee, they're all having to appropriate what's going on without you even knowing about it. All right, last one, and then we march in place. March, left, right. So see, now you're not having to react to that imbalance of the board. It just feels a little more what we'll call neuromuscular common or friendly, because this is what we do every day. But the way that you get better is you challenge yourself slightly, which is exactly what this board was designed to do. Support you by having the poles, challenge you by having the rocking surface, control you by having a rocking surface that still has an end point, so it's not going to rock over. So it's just the right amount. It's kind of like the Three Bear story. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. Not too stable, not too unstable, just right. All right, basic step left. Up, up. Look down the first few. See that your foot is going one and one and floor and floor. And then as soon as you have taken a second to look down and get your appropriation of foot placement, then try to bring that gaze back up and keep your chin parallel to the floor, your chest lifted. In your mind's eye, you want to sense that you're still hitting that same place. And every once in a while, you can peek back down and make sure your foot is kind of lining up somewhere between the 1 and the 2 with the full foot on that board, no heel hanging off. And then come back to that neutral posture and head alignment. Good. Again, up, up. Notice we have not taken a break. You've been doing a light cardio stepping pattern for a good 10 minutes here. A little wider now. Let's go V-step. Remember what the V-step meant, that your toes and knees turn out and the hips have to allow for it by externally rotating just a tad so that everything stays in good alignment. Remember, knees, toes, and hips always want to go in the same direction when possible. When they don't, that's where we usually tweak or have a little injury somewhere down in the chain. Here we go. Toes out, heels a little in, wider step. Still rhythmically coming up and going back down to the ground. Now, if every once in a while you go, whew, I need to take a breath, that's a good thing. That means that you are working in a more moderate or aggressive cardio state. Now, if you get breathless, then it's time to slow down. Maybe just march on the floor or even sit down for a little bit, get some water, whatever it takes to keep you in motion without overdoing it. We need to build into our fitness. Oftentimes we love getting back in shape maybe a little too aggressively, and then we get some soreness, delayed onset soreness. That might turn you off in the long run. So please progress yourself slowly and gently so that you keep wanting to come back for more. Good. Out, out. All right, back to the basic. Basic was about 1.5, somewhere around those center pull holes. Let's step right back to the basic, a more narrow gait. No turning the corner on this one. Toes and knees in the front direction, chin up, chest up. Breathe. Got this. Now, how many of you remember what our next move was? The one where we get to utilize the red ball called the tap up. So left, tap on the floor, 2. Right, tap to the floor, 2. Left, tap to the floor. So take a second. That shift in pattern is also a brain game. You got to get your brain around this because your brain was so happy and comfortable with the basic pattern or the V pattern. Now we've thrown a little hick or hitch. Here we go. Good, like a hiccup. Nice. Step, tap. How's your posture doing with this? If you're looking down chronically at your foot, then you're going to start stooping over a little too much with your spine. So it's okay to gaze down and then bring it right back up when you can. That's the best way to approach this, is to gaze down and then look right back up once you're comfortable. And then to challenge yourself, see if you can keep your gaze up for, multiple reps. That's a nice way to progress this. Taking away the visual stimulus of looking where you're going and feeling for where you're going, right? Because that's what we want to be able to do in real time, in real space, is we want to be able to know where our body is at all moments during movement and be in control of it. That's called having good kinesthetic awareness, right? Think about those acrobats or those gymnasts during the Olympics, how they know where their body is when they're doing those huge flips and tumbles. I have no idea. But it's all the same brain game. For us, just knowing how to keep our head up and transfer from a right to the left, tap and lead, is monumental in some cases, right? Couple more. Last one. And then I'm going to bring you down for another sip of water. All right, let's come around. Good job. So our next set is going to be done up on the board. Good morning, Dan. So good to see you here today. Today is red ball play day. So we're having a little fun with our red ball. All right. 3 gulps, guys. Summertime, you got to force the fluid. 1 more. All right, so we're ready now to come on top of the board. We've done a lot off board. So let's get on top. And this is gonna bring us home. We got about 10 more minutes, and I wanted to spend some time with that pressure point thing, so we won't spend too much time up top. So let's step up with the right and left to just comfort zone around 2 and 2. Nice, gentle sit back squats, okay? So I want you to find your board center. I haven't had you focus too much on centering the board up till now. So take a second before you squat to just find center. Keep that gaze up, keep the core tight, keep the glutes a little bit squeezed. and feel for center where neither right or left is bottoming to the floor. All right, now you've got this. So start with an inch squat. Inch, what's an inch? Very small. Squat just an inch and then bring it back up. Take 2 inches. And I want the inches to be leading from the hips. 3 inches. The knees are always going to comply unless they're in pain. So if I cue the hip, I, in most cases, don't have to cue the knees. So think from the hips, sit back. Oh, I'm getting to about 6 inches. How about you? So progress it like an elevator. If you can get 7 or 8, or if you can get all the way to where your hip and thigh is parallel to the floor and your knees are forming a right angle, that would be the most advanced sit back. Now, as you're doing this with whatever your best squat back is, then put your mind's eye on keeping the board as centered as possible. So try not to bottom out. I know I'm asking for a lot right now. Inhale, exhale. Keep your view forward. Keep your back flat. Keep the weight equally distributed between the outer edges of your feet, the inner edges, the toes and the heels, with your arches feeling a little lifted. So think about your feet for a second. So often we let our arches of our feet collapse down. Try to go back, keeping a little of your mind's thought or your mind muscle concentration on keeping the outer edges of your feet planted and the arches a little free, like maybe a small, really small ball could roll under your arch. Small marble size, or maybe even just a little BB size. All right, 2 more. Good job. Last one. Level out. Bring it center and rock it out just to clear it a bit. Clear out the brain cobwebs, the balance, focus, and just let your muscles sway side to side. Good work. All right, so back to the red ball play. Let's step the feet in, 1 and 1. So our first red ball exercise, they'll get a little progressively harder, okay? I'm warning you. We're gonna take our right foot and we're gonna place the ball or the toe of the foot on the red ball. We're gonna scoot the left foot right behind it on the red line. So now you're in what we sometimes call tightrope or tandem stance. Aha, now center out that board. Chin up, chest up. If you can, sit back and sit up. So push your hip back and push it up. Keep your chest up. I know the board tends to want to rock here, but make it your focus to first get the sit back and then get the leveling of the board as much as possible. Are you with me? Because we're going to add on to this. Now, whenever I say we're going to add on to this, that is also an invitation for you to say, no, thank you. I'm going to just stick with this. All right, because add on means progress. And maybe you don't need to or want to. So we're going to sit back, stand up, balance up, put it down. So all we've done is add a balance lift with that foot that is residing on the ball or resting on the ball. Good. Keep doing these, and as you do them, try to go from being conscious of just the movement to being conscious of the stability of the board, and then to be conscious of the foot positioning. So do you still feel like the arch of your foot can have a little BB ball run under it? The edges, toes, and heels are in contact. 1 more, then hold and balance. Whew, stay put. Get that board in line. Wiggle your fingers, because sometimes we put the tension in the weirdest of places, right? The neck, the shoulders, the fingers. If you want to challenge this, you kick front and back and front. So by adding movement to the up leg, you're challenging stability on the down leg. Keep your head up, keep your chin up, keep your chest up, keep your board as level as you can. Good. Again, front, back, breathe. breathe in deep. Whew. As you get tired, as the ankle gets tired, you start to notice that board wobble, don't you? One more. Out. And that's okay. Ease it in. All right, let's rock it side to side. Step out and ease the sway. Let the body and the knees and the hips just sway side to side and prep for the other side. All right, guys, so see what I said? You know, you might do the first few and say, wow, I'm keeping this board really solid and I feel good about it. And then all of a sudden you start feeling a little earthquake down there on the board. And when you really realize it, it's probably one of your weaker links. It might be the muscles of the ankle, might be the muscles of the knee, around the knee, or the hip that are fatiguing to the point that they no longer can do their job right, stabilizing you. And then you notice it because the board shows that quiver going on. And that's okay, because our point of these exercises is to take ourselves at the appropriate challenge to the point of fatigue. Well, the way we recognize fatigue during stabilizing exercises is that little wobble. That's the sign that fatigue is hitting those muscles that should be solid. So you've done what you're supposed to. You took it to fatigue. Take a break at that point, and maybe the next time the fatigue point will be further out. All right? Okay, step back in again. This time we're going to keep our right foot on the red line and put our left toe up on the red ball play day. All right, find your center. Elevator sit backs. Remember to lead with the hips going back 1 inch, maybe 2 inches. I'll let you get there as fast as you're comfortable. But remember to stay on the floor that you feel good about. What does that mean? If you start trying to go so low that the earthquake just becomes a 8-point earthquake, then you know that you are just in a range that you don't have the stability for. If you start to feel knee or hip or ankle pain, that would be another reason to go back to a smaller movement pattern or a lesser floor. This is my side that is not quite as strong. I have a bone spur and a little arthritis. And so I'm not going to get down to the 6th floor like I did on the other side. I may only get about 4 inches or 4 floors down. And I'm okay with that because I'll push it, but I won't push it past reason, right? Past pain. Couple more. Inhale and exhale. See how my hip kind of wants to wobble around and not go straight back? That's what we call a cheat. And that's what your body and brain does without telling you when it's hitting fatigue. So reduce the intensity, come back up to where you're more stable. Okay, couple more, and we're gonna hold. We're gonna go down, hold, lift, drop. If you wanna add the progression of the balance lift, remember those are progressions, meaning if you need to stay at the level below, stay there and just do the squat backs. Or take a little break and just stand tall and breathe. Sit back, come up, lift and drop. Nice. You got this. Try to keep that board quiet. Notice that your arms are helping, your hands are helping, your ankle, knee, and hip are helping. Your core is hopefully staying stable. 2 more. Ooh, starting to pop. Last one. Hold here, balance. Balance, find the center. Tighten up, lift your chest. If you can and want to, kick front, kick back. Kick front, kick back. Keep the chin up, keep the chest up. Beautiful, guys. Stay with me, you've got this. We're almost done with the work phase. Then we're gonna go into stretch and relaxation. Pressure point with the red ball. Try to keep that board quiet. See, for me, my ankle isn't the problem, nor my knee, it's my hip. So my board isn't going to wobble so much on this because my hip doesn't have to do much work on this one. It's more ankle and knee. Last one. Put the feet together. Woo, rock it out again. So just that stabilizing, I felt the fatigue grow in this hip joint, but not enough to cause pain. And you always want to stay away from the pain threshold. You know, we used to say no pain, no gain. Well, I think we learned the hard way that too much pain and you won't be gaining at all. You'll be injured. So you'll be stopping. So we're more sensible today in fitness for most part, which is great. All right, so go ahead and bottom out and step off. We're gonna come get our last sip of water, and then we're gonna pick up our ball and sit down in our chair, and we are going to do some of those final massage type pressure point moves to kiss today goodbye. And I have to kiss today goodbye because my water's almost gone. One more. All right, let's come on back. Now on this one, I would love for you to have a chair and your ball. The board is not necessary. So I'm just gonna pull out my chair that's a little bit easier for me to manipulate and for you to see me so I can stay closer. Taking the red ball, let's just push, massage the palm. So the bubbly side is on one side, and just kind of create a little compression into your hand or fingers, and just sense for pressure on your thumb, on your palm, like start to grip it, create a massaging action, and feel the sensation against the nerve endings in the fingers and the palm, the tips of the fingers, the very edge, the thumbs, then maybe more the center. And then after getting a good little massage going, spread it and stretch it and just hold it here. Just feel the stretch. And then we're going to switch direction and start that same kneading action, pushing your fingers into the nubs, pushing your thumb into the nubs, just kind of waking up the nerve endings with pressure. Try different forces, maybe push harder, squeeze harder, feel for what it feels like on the inside of the fingers, right between the thumb and fingers. You know, like a reflexology style press. There's so many nerve endings that relate to other parts of your body and connective tissues that need to be kind of massaged. Get the blood circulation, the oxygen up. All right, let's squeeze and release and then stretch back. So just open those fingers and push that palm into the ball, the heel of the hand right there. Breathe, stretch, relax. All right, let's take that ball now and place it behind you. Hopefully your chair has a solid back so that you can put the flatness of the ball against the chair right underneath that shoulder or scapula or between it, and then just kind of move against it. So push your back into the ball and see if you can find one of those little knots as you push. You might have to reposition it if you feel like your knot's a little lower, like bra strap area for you girls or gals. Guys, you know what I mean. And then just push into it by moving your spine around and feel the nubs do a little massage action on one side. Nice. And then let's take the ball. I know it's difficult. Put it right in the middle. Sometimes you have to figure out how to get to the middle, right between your shoulder blades, not off to one side. Now, open up the goalpost and lift your chest and let the ball create a little more arch action between the shoulder blades, opening up the chest. Just hold here. Keep your head up and your chin in line with the rest of your spine. I'm just going to do a little pivot so you can see both sides. Breathe, inhale, exhale. Feel your inhale expanding to the back and pushing your spine into that ball even more. Expanding the chest cavity, stretching across the shoulders and chest. All right, now from here, slide over so that it's now on the opposite side of that scapula. And again, just roll around If your tension spot is a little higher, push the ball up higher and try to see if you can find your own tender spot on this other side of your scapula and shoulder area. And then just kind of create, like, you know how you get in those massage chairs and the balls go around and around? Well, you're now the massage chair. So you're creating the balls going around and around by moving your body versus the chair moving and your body staying stable. And I like that because number one, it has the same effect, but also it loosens and limbers and gets the blood flow up in those joint areas that might be a little cranky from sitting too long. All right, good job. Massage it out. Feel those nubbies. And then come back to sitting so that the ball is more central to your back. And then once again, but this time with the arms down low, open your chest and lean back. Arms low, fingers out. Good job. Inhale and exhale. Take a breath. Make sure you don't let your head go back so far that it creates too much neck tension. So hold here. Open up the chest and shoulders. You can let your arms go a little bit in rotation so the thumbs can come up and down if that feels good to you. And then let's gently tuck our chin in and curl your body so that you're almost like somebody was playing tug of war with you, with that ball right between your two shoulder blades, and get a good stretch. Tuck your chin. Ooh, bring those arms up. Ball's right in the middle. Like you're chopping wood. Let the arms come up and down. Swing that axe overhead. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more. And then gently come back up. Bring your ball to the front. Sit up in neutral, nice and tall. Now today we don't have time to go to our lower body and our foot massage, but I'll save that for another workout. But let's take the ball into the chest. Inhale, and then exhale, bring it forward. And inhale, pull the elbows back. And exhale, maybe a little higher. And inhale. Fill up those lungs. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. We're in OT right now. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. And bring it down. And see that ball like a red ball of energy. Pull that energy into your body and hold on to it for the rest of the day. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with me here today, Wellness Wednesday. I'm Kathy Stevens, here with the 60 Up member page. Dan Metcalf, my partner in crime here, making sure that we keep you in great shape. No excuse to be sedentary. No excuse to lose your balance, your strength, your cardiovascular endurance, because we're here for you. Every week, we are here for you 3 days a week. So make sure that you join us Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 a.m. See you next week. Signing off. Take care, gang.